Recording in progress. Okay. Welcome. Hello, Just Alive family. I am Melissa Krechler. I am your host of Giving You Something to Talk About Live TV. I'm an identity coach and a spiritual teacher, and I created Just Alive TV, or Giving You Something to Talk About Live TV, to give you a platform to hear about relevant topics, passion topics, real talk, real people, real topics that are going to help you create a happier, healthier life every day. So today, my guest is Diane, and today we're going to be talking about sleep, because who doesn't, right? Everybody needs sleep. Everybody wants sleep, but there are so many different things to learn about how to sleep for you. And we're going to be touching on those during this. What can happen when you're not getting enough sleep, how to get enough sleep, and how to know what your body needs, because it's uniquely individual to the person. So I'm going to hand it off to Diane. Please feel free to tell everybody who you are.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. I so appreciate the opportunity to be here today with you. And I love what you're doing with this new show. This is so exciting, and I can't wait to see what else you have coming up. So I'm Diane Vix, as Melissa said. My business is called Manifesting Wellness Naturally. So I'm only going to give you natural, easy tips that you can choose from. And we're going to talk about all the things Melissa said. So I am a hope dealer. I love that title. Someone called me a hope dealer, and I said, you know what, that really fits. So it's stuck, and I'm going to stick with that. So basically, I'm a wellness guide, natural wellness guide. So because of my own journey, I want to help others at an earlier age to find something that works for them, whether it be sleep or digestion or weight or emotions, almost anything in life. I probably experienced it. Definitely had some pain issues in my life with fibromyalgia after being hit by a car as a pedestrian, and lots of illness growing up and dis-ease in my body. And now at this mature age, I have 0 pharmaceuticals in my house and 0 over-the-counter meds, and about 2 chemical products in the house. And it took a while, but it is a journey, and everyone's, like you said, at a different place on that journey, right? So what works for me may not work for you. And, sometimes it's a little trial and error. But so here we are today talking about that all important yet elusive subject of sleep. So I was preparing for this and having so much fun doing it. And I joked to myself, and I'll share that with you, that I didn't get enough sleep last night in preparation for this. So I could, right. So I wanted to throw myself into the experience and see what it was like so that I could really, I'm going to stick with that one. So
that is a good, because you used to experience a lack of sleep, and now that you don't, it's like a foreign feeling now.
You do forget, right? I had forgotten until I tried to function this morning. So I got 2 hours less than what I usually do, and everything was shifted about 3 hours. So not at all good for me, especially with like fibromyalgia. That's a trigger for me. Not enough sleep. My body needs to heal. And, today I'm a little creaky. And so I would love, if you're open to this, to start off by asking you, and because we've talked about this, right? Sleep is an issue for most of us at some point in our lives, if not on a regular basis. So I would really like to know from everyone, if you're willing to type that in the chat, either live now or if you watch this on a replay, that tell me, how do you know that your body has not gotten enough sleep for you?
Yes.
How do you know?
The symptoms do vary. And like we said at the beginning, right? It is everybody's so unique. So symptoms that I may have, or symptoms that my husband may have, or my mama, because I'm going to be mentioning my mama, she does not sleep enough. But the symptoms and the effects of not sleeping enough varies per person, right? Because you could be sleeping 20 minutes not enough. You could be sleeping an hour or 5 hours, or however long you're supposed to be sleeping. If you're not getting that amount, it's like, it is a trigger, right? So for me, I'd love to answer that. So when I don't sleep enough, I'm irritable, absolutely. But oddly enough, I find that when I have something to do the next day, so we used to live in a different province, because I'm in Canada, so the province is not states. We used to live in a different province, and if I knew, I remember once, and I'll use this one as an example. I was going to pick up my stepson at the airport, and when I was going to pick him up, I didn't sleep the night before because it was like a 5-hour drive. And I'm just like, I wasn't sleeping before. And then I'm like, shoot, I have to wake up at like 5 a.m. just to go get him. And so I didn't get enough sleep, but I found that I got up really quickly. I was energized, and I had a lot of, I don't want to say energy throughout the day, but I wasn't as tired as I thought I would be on little amount of sleep that I had gotten. So I find it weird. Sometimes I wake up and I haven't slept, and it's like a reset, right? But by the end of the day, I'm just like, oh, like I'm just exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah, because you wasn't used to that pattern, right? Yeah. That's really fascinating. So when we have something to look forward to, and we're happy about it, as opposed to going into work to a job that we despise or brings our energy down, we have something to bring our energy up during the day, that can really energize us, and therefore we have a good day, and we're going to sleep better the next night. Yeah. So our daytime habits also can affect our nighttime, our sleep hygiene. We're going to talk about sleep hygiene. That's a newer term, and it doesn't yet roll off my tongue, but I also know that if I don't get into bed and sleep by 10 p.m., I'm up till 1 p.m. and then I'm done. So I know a lot of people like that. And tell us in the comments if that's you too, because we want to relate to you. We know we're not the only ones.
What are your sleep cycles? What feels good? What doesn't? What are your symptoms? The other thing too that I'd like to touch on in this episode is not just a lack of sleep, but too much sleep. Absolutely. That's another one. I get so ill. Like if I go for a nap in the middle of the day, I can't. Like if I nap in the middle of the day, I'm nauseous. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm dizzy. Like if I get too much sleep, if I sleep in the morning, I end up waking up with a headache because I've slept too long. Yes. So there is also the sleeping too long, not just lack of sleep, but too much sleep is also an issue.
Right. It definitely is. And at different times in our life, depending on what's going on in our life, we have some stressful things going on, or if we don't have, like during the pandemic, a lot of people have found, gosh, I am more sedentary and I need to move more, and all the things, so many things can affect our sleep. And yes, absolutely. I agree with you that too much sleep can also be detrimental, and you just got to be aware. This is a mindfulness exercise. It's really an awareness of yourself and what it is that you need. And that sometimes a fine balance between too much sleep or not enough sleep. And like you said, if you don't sleep during the day and like to take a nap, then how are you going to feel? Or if you do, how are you going to feel? So sometimes you just got to try it and see what happens to find out. Some people have difficulty falling asleep, and some people wake up during the night different times. So this is cool. If you search by keyword on in the internet, look for the Chinese clock or the Chinese meridian clock. So it has a 12-hour clock, and it tells you the best times of the day, the most ideal times to get sleep, and the most ideal times for different body systems and organs to function, even the best times for sex. Yay. So everybody's going to check that out now, right?
Yeah.
So, and the best time to eat, and the best times to eat. So this has been in existence for thousands of years, and it just talks about your body's systems and organs and its best function. So optimal function. And you may find, oh, well, I'm a night owl, so that clock is totally off for me. But you'll notice it's opposite. So whatever, let's say your liver, I'm making this up, but let's say your liver is best functioning at 3 p.m. and that's the time to feed your liver. Well, also then conversely, it's resting at 3 a.m. So you want to look at the opposites and just check that out. It's really fascinating, and it might give you some insight, because there was a time in my life where I was waking at the same time every night. And then, I always feed not always, not anymore, but I used to feed my emotions. So I would get up, oh, I must be hungry. I was definitely thirsty. So I would go get the water in the kitchen, and then in the kitchen, I'm going to feed my face. So that wasn't really good. So now I pay attention, what time is it, or what hour is it on that clock? And then you have some insight as to what might be waking you up. For me, it was my liver, and liver is the organ that has been stressed so much during like the last 2 years. So we see that in thermography. So some people, like I said, have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. And let's see, what do I want to say? If you're feeling stressed and you have a lot on your plate, you feel overwhelmed by life, maybe you're juggling during the day, just to unwind and let your mind release those thoughts that about your day. There's so many things that we can do naturally to let that stuff go. So I'm not saying, get rid of it, but I'm saying get it off your mind or off your chest, right? So people understand what that means, get it off your chest. So if you're here in the comments, I'd like to hear what practices work for you. And then I'm going to give you some in case you don't come up with them on your own, right? We'll do that in just a little bit. I wanted to acknowledge that life is full of craziness. It's just, life can be crazy sometimes, and just got to go with the flow at times. So life is always going to have some level of crazy, right? We can agree on that. What we're trying to do is be more resilient and be the best to our body that we can be. This is the only vessel that we have to get through this life. You only get that one. So treat it the best that you can. So I will say that all the experts, the medical, the sleep experts, they all agree that a window of about 7 to 9 hours of sleep is ideal. So you may be just like, an ideal blood pressure is in this range, right? So you may be just one side or the other of that median range, but that's average, and that is ideal. So 7 to 9 hours. So if you're getting 8 hours of sleep, great. If that's good for you, like Melissa said, if you just don't fall into the norm, that's okay, because that's your norm, right? So I would encourage you to use a couple of tools, and one of them is imagery. So
we'll actually get to the tools
in
a little bit.
Okay.
I think we should probably touch on the symptoms. So giving people an idea of what the symptoms are of not getting enough sleep versus getting too much sleep. Because we did ask, what are your symptoms? How do you know whether you're getting enough sleep or not, right? So going through some of those symptoms and saying these are things that, you have or could be experiencing are signs that you're either getting too much sleep or not enough sleep. So what do you think? I would say for me, it's irritability. Absolutely irritability. If I don't get enough sleep, irritability, sluggish. I feel like a sloth, being just very slow, impaired cognitive functions, or just some of the ones that I noticed for myself and my mama, right? She's actually had, and I love her too. She's actually had situations where not sleeping at all can cause delusions.
Oh yeah.
Right. So a lack of sleep can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
Big time.
Especially over a long period of time, as we had discussed, right? So there's a lot of factors that go into that too. And we touched on them a little bit, and we'll talk about some more. But first, those signs that you're not getting enough sleep. So you mentioned, I call it brain fog. Sometimes it's hormonal. A hormonal imbalance can cause brain fog as well. Sometimes it's something else. Maybe it's related to a medicine that you're taking. So feeling that tiredness, fatigue, also lack of motivation or lack of doing things that you truly enjoy. So sometimes people equate that with depression, but if it's temporary, then look at, what's causing it, right? Yeah. And memory and motor impairment. So if you are falling over, losing your balance, especially in the elderly population, the primary cause of injury is balance or lack of. So that sleep is going to be extra important for your mama, right? And mine as well. So irritability you mentioned, and difficulty with social interactions. If you're feeling like an unusually low mood, just notice those things, because then you have over time a reduced quality of life, and we need social interaction. I know some people would disagree, but as human beings, we're made to interact. So we rely on each other. And when we don't have that, like in the last 2 years, sleep is extra important to rejuvenate, right? And to feel comfortable in those social interactions. So our quality of life is reduced, and then increase of depression is so we're so susceptible to that. So through that, I personally have dealt with this most of my life. Then the weight comes on because our body is working so hard, right, to just digest or to work harder to heal. So our body cannot lose weight. So don't try to lose weight if you're not getting enough sleep, because you're just running through that hamster wheel, right? Also, there's an increase of cardiovascular disease. So think about if 40% of our population is sleep deprived on a regular basis, and if this is chronic, it's even worse. So what happens when 40% of the drivers on the road are sleep deprived? Their cognition is impaired, right? Their motor skills are impaired. Oh, I forgot to look before I change lanes, but there's a car there. So that causes all kinds of repercussions, right? So
for sure.
Yeah, we just need more sleep. And if you're on the job, you know that your job performance will suffer and decline because you're not thinking clearly. And we need to make rational decisions, especially in the last 2 years. And right now, things are getting better, but they're also escalating in different areas. So just not need to be on the ball, make good decisions, period, all the time.
So for symptoms, we're talking cognitive, basically physical, right? Any physical symptoms, you can experience just about any physical symptoms, pain, lack of motor skills, sluggishness, all of that, lack of sleep, emotional.
And even digestion with the physical.
Yeah.
Right. And like
see, and that's funny because I actually lost a ton of weight, and I mean a shit ton of weight, when I wasn't sleeping. Wow. Tons. And I'm not telling anybody to do this, so please don't take this as this right. is my own personal experience. But I probably lost like 60 pounds not sleeping. I was not sleeping. I was constantly going, was barely eating though. It was a really rough patch in my life, but yeah. At the same time, I lost a ton of weight. So it was, yeah, I think it depends on the situation, what else is going on. But definitely, so emotional, physical, energetic, there's a variation of symptoms. And I again will ask people to, type your symptoms up. If you feel like you're not sleeping, and type your symptoms up for sure. Yeah. So symptoms of too much sleep. So for me, there's been headaches. There's been, again, irritability. There's been, I feel a lack of energy, a lack of emotion other than anger, and just sick to my stomach when I sleep too much, and headaches, of course.
Almost the same here. And I would say that's probably similar across the board with almost anyone you ask. So I find it hard to even get out of bed if I have, say, 9-10 hours of sleep. I feel like I never went to sleep. So, and then I'm going to eat more. And that's my thing, right? That's what my body does, that my mind does when I'm not thinking clearly. So, I'm also going to feel the achiness in my joints that comes.
You get no time to recuperate your body, for sure.
Exactly, because sleep does.
So routines. So listening to you talk about sleep gave me this realization that routine is really important, not just for sleep, but what you do day to day. So I'll use myself as an example, or something that you had mentioned about earlier is, if you go every day and you're sedentary, or if you go every day and you're physically active, even half an hour every day, right? And you take away that physical activity, or you input that physical activity, it's going to impact your sleep. It's going to impact your physical body, your energetic levels, your emotional levels. So it is really a mind, body, and energy experience, for sure.
Everything is, Melissa. I truly believe there's no one silver bullet for anything. And we need to look at the whole body and mind as part of that, right? And if spirituality hopefully is part of your mind and body experience, because we cannot treat just one part of the body, because it's all connected, and the mind is part of that. So that's the good news, is that there's something we can do, but first you need to be aware of it, right? And you need to, I'd suggest, if you're not really sure, if you're noticing some of these symptoms, you go on Dr. Google and you say, oh, is that me? Do I have, this rare disease? No, you don't have to do that. But if you are not really sure, I would suggest just you take a journal. Here in the States, we have the dollar store. You can buy anything for $1. So you take a journal from the dollar store, or whatever, write it on a napkin. I don't care. But journal out for, let's say, 4 weeks, and even 1 week, and you might see a pattern appear. And you can journal times that you sleep if that's an issue, because when that is an issue for me, or when that was, to reverse it, I had to acknowledge that first and see, oh, what am I dealing with? So then you can have a new target. So get from where you are now to the new target. You have to know what's going on and what things do I need to change. I need to change my, right?
Sleep apps, majority of us have smartphones, so sleep apps can help with that. If you have a smartwatch and you don't need an Apple Watch, I have a $40 smartwatch off of Amazon. So if you have any smart technology that has the ability to measure or log your food intake, your sleep cycles, your heart rate, your activity levels, all of that, it can do that for you. In a way, right? If you have something of a smart technology, you can download an app, you can input all that information and really get started on thinking, hey, what am I doing? And this doesn't just help with sleep. That's what people don't understand. This doesn't just help with sleep. It helps you with your moods. It helps you with your weight gain or your weight loss goals. It can help you maintain healthy boundaries. It can make your lifestyle a lot healthier when you actually take the time to sit and think, okay, what am I doing? I'm overweight. I'm over 200 pounds. I'm overweight. I know that. I'm okay with that. Do I know what's causing it? Absolutely. I sit at my desk most days. I, will lie in bed and read. I eat whatever the hell I want. Like last night I had a full bowl of con queso because why not, right? But I know that I'm doing that and I'm okay. I'm happy. Yeah. I might be overweight, but my mindset's where I want it to be. And I feel good. So if you think that you need those changes, then absolutely. But if you're not experiencing any of these things, then don't worry about it. You're good, right? Like even if you are, you don't have to make drastic changes. And I think when we talk about food, when we talk about diet, when we talk about sleep, lifestyle, exercise, all of that, people start to get overwhelmed with all the different possibilities, right? Because you have, I'm a coach and you've got a coach a dime a dozen. While I don't deal with fitness, there are still a coach a dime a dozen. And there's so many different layers and so many different people teaching those layers, right? And you've got to do what's best for you. My 12-year-old daughter, was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 9. It took her, she had 3 doctors. We were living in a small town. We had 3 doctors. You could see whichever doctor had an appointment. We saw 3 separate doctors over a 9-month period. She had lost 30 pounds within a month. She was going to the bathroom at all times. She was sick, her stomach, all of it. And it took them 9 months to diagnose her with type 1 diabetes. And the doctor, one of the doctors that she had seen, turned around and flat out told my husband, put her on the keto diet. While with diabetes, the keto diet isn't horrible, my daughter has type 1. And with type 1, she can have anything she wants to have. She just has to give herself insulin for it. It's lifelong. This isn't, I'm going to stop eating carbs and my diabetes is going to correct. No, it's lifelong. Her pancreas does not work. Right. So you need to go with your gut, because if we had put her on the keto diet at that point, before she was diagnosed, or even recently after she was diagnosed, it would have killed her, or potentially could have killed her. And that's not okay. So no matter who you're talking to, whether it be a holistic doctor, whether it be a PhD doctor, whoever you're talking to, please make sure that it aligns with you, and ask yourself, because I know it's easy to get offended. Well, you're not sleeping because you're overweight. It's easy to get emotionally offended by that. You have to sit there and ask, do I feel that that's right? Am I right? And gauge whether you feel instinctually that that's right.
Excellent point. And you also mentioned, if you're working with a practitioner, and suggest that you do, if you're having any issues that cause your life to be feeling like it's upside down or you're not in control, it's okay to go to a professional and get some advice, get some good professional advice, somebody who's studied what you need, and then take what serves you and do what you feel is right with that. Right. So I'm not a doctor. I'm just talking about things that I've researched, things that I've experienced myself. And these are my best suggestions, right?
And it transformed your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want others to get a good night's sleep and feel vibrant and energetic and feel your best self, you know, and have good digestion and good relationships and all of that. And it does come with sleep. It really does. So you talked about a lot of things, and I love that you're high tech, I'm low tech. So I'm going to get out paper. Some people feel better writing, and some people use their smartphones or their smart app or whatever. And I love that you just jumped in there. Look at you. So you do it all.
I have 30 notebooks in my general, like within reaching distance. I have at least 30 notebooks.
Wow. Wow. I thought I had a lot. I have about 10 right now myself, one for each subject, right? So I wanted to just say, like you just kind of edify what you said about, you know, what, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So today I'm here only to offer simple tips and maybe hacks, things that will be effective for most people. And you can try them and it won't hurt, generally speaking. So you want to, as we were saying about the journal or the apps that track your habits, right? You want to learn from your patterns. What helps? What's getting in the way? What's getting in the way of a good night's sleep? And what do you want out of this practice? Do you want to feel rested and rejuvenated? Maybe you want to feel pain-free when you wake up. Maybe you want to feel clear-headed, have a clear mind. So when you go to bed and when you wake up, those are two key times in your day that you can practice. Just insert your own good practice here. So lots of people find meditation really helpful because it helps you to just soothe your mind. And you do that yourself. You can use an app, right? You can listen to some meditative music or something else, or you can just, the idea is to quiet your mind, right? So when we do that, and sometimes before I do meditation, like I need to journal all about my day or get my day ready for tomorrow so that I can download all that crap that's in my head from this day, right? Because I'm going to lay there as soon as my head hits the pillow, my mouth opens and my poor husband, he falls asleep. But I download my day if I don't journal it. So know yourself, right? What are you saying?
I disagree with your variation of meditation strongly, which doesn't invalidate it for you or anybody else who believes the same way. But I always share my opinion. Meditation, and this is exactly how I teach it as a spiritual teacher, is that meditation is not to clear your mind. Meditation for me is to clear your emotions so that you can logically process what's in your mind and transmute it into positive growth rather than anything that you need to ignore or shove aside. Meditation can be as simple as listening to music. It's literally, if you go back, meditation is a form of hypnosis. It's not actually, it's literally a form of hypnosis where you're putting your body, your energy, and your mind into a relaxed state. Now, you can't relax in meditation if you are emotionally charged. So removing those emotions by meditating, right? You're removing those emotions, you're calming those emotions and your energy so that you can focus. Everybody gets great ideas. Telling somebody that it's to clear your mind. I would sit there and I was taught so many times, well, it's to clear your mind, it's to clear your mind. I'm like, no, it's not. It drove me nuts. And I actually took the class with a woman I love. And I tried it. For the life of me, I tried it and it did not work. I felt so awkward meditating and I felt like a goober. And And so I sat there and I was like, and I'm a spiritual teacher, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, I'm a healer and intuitive, I'm all of it. And I sat there and I'm like, what is wrong? Like, what's going on with me that I can't meditate? And it's because I was trying to do it that way. When I realized that listening to music, coloring in an art book, painting, whatever relaxes your emotions, that's meditation. That's the true purpose of it. It's not to sit in a room and pretend that nothing's going on in your brain. So if anybody feels the way I do, just know that you're not the only one. And there are different variations of meditation.
Love the clarification from someone who knows more about meditation. So I didn't mean to say that that was going to do it for you, like magically.
Oh, so, absolutely. Like I said, there are a lot of people who full-heartedly believe that meditation is to clear their mind. And I am not out to change their mind. I am not out to invalidate their belief. I just like to share my belief because it's mine. And there's always differing beliefs. So if somebody else believes in that it's clearing your mind, absolutely, right on. There's nothing wrong with that.
So you've helped me to think, I love this, that it's, for me anyway, more about quieting my thoughts so that I can really get to what's going on. So whatever that looks like for you, whether it's journaling or meditation or, just sitting and being quiet, or prayer, or bath, a luxurious bath, with quiet, or sometimes it is noise. Sometimes it is noise that helps us to be quiet, right? So whatever that looks like, maybe incorporate that into your evening routine. So this brings me to a point of, well, when do I get ready for bed? What time is good for bed? So Ayurvedically speaking, from an Ayurveda perspective, ancient Indian practices, also thousands of years old and very effective and very simple. The Ayurvedic believes 10 p.m. is a good bedtime. And I believe that's based on the Chinese clock. So I know that's not true for everyone, right? Because we're all different. So if, let's say, just as an example, so a standard bedtime would be 10 p.m. So then what time do I stop eating for the day? What time do I, stop screen time? Like you said, screen time, anything, whether it's your phone, any device, a TV, any device, or any electronics, even like a digital alarm clock people still have. Anything is going to give off that blue light, which tells our brain it's time to wake up. So we don't want that blue light. So if you even have, a smart watch or something that you wear, you want to keep that away from your bed at night. So let's back up to prepare for a 10 p.m. That's our example, bedtime, or sleep time, I should say, sleep time, even more specific. So we want to back into that. And personally, in order to do that, I need to set an alarm on my phone, which is kind of ironic because the alarm would be alarming. But an hour before, I need to wind down and get my brain thinking, because it's like a mind game sometimes, right? In order to get into that new habit, to form new habits. So I set an alarm for 1 hour before. So 9 o'clock, my alarm goes and says, it's time to wind down, to turn off the electronics, to maybe get yourself, brush your teeth, your hair, your toileting, your get into your jammies, grab that cuddle bunny, whatever that looks like for you, and get your body and your mind ready for a good night's sleep. So it is a little process, just like we did for our children, right? So if you have little children around, or you had at one time, you want to get them into a habit at nighttime. So, okay, after dinner, we have a bath, we have this, and it's relaxing. You put some lavender oil in your bathtub, or a lot of other essential oils that work for you that are calming, then maybe we read. So reading, as long as it's not invigorating, you may not want to read Harry Potter or something exciting. So you want to read something that's calming to your mind, and it's not going to be invigorating. So save that other stuff for during the day. And then also, maybe listening to that quiet music or meditative sounds. That's why that's $1 million industry for like those white noise boxes, or just have a white noise app, right?
Yep.
The ocean sounds, maybe that's soothing to you. You got to find whatever works for you. So then even before that, we'll back it up even more. So how long before bedtime or before you go to sleep do you feel it would, the experts would say that you should stop eating for the day? That's a good question, I think.
Usually, from my experience, everybody said about 2 hours. So 2 hours prior is what I've heard. Now, I wanted to touch on while I wanted to touch on your prior comment about I love because I do have young kids. I have, 2 are adults now, but I do have 2 younger. The bedtime routine is great, and I love that. But that's not going to work for everybody. Like for me, that doesn't work. I will lie in my bed and read on my tablet. I will play my casino games on the tablet. I will do a ridiculous amount of things on my tablet, but they're not fully engaging, right? So it's if I read a book on my tablet, because of course I have Kindle, and I'm an avid reader, so I read all the time. But I actually will fall asleep or get to the point of falling asleep while reading or playing on my tablet. And then it's like, okay, now it's time to put that away. And I go to bed. And I usually do go to bed around the same time every day. Within a 2-hour period, I'm going to bed usually around midnight, 1 o'clock, I'm going to bed. And then I'm up at 7:30.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So for me, that's what works.
And that's what works. So, and you feel that you're getting adequate sleep that number of hours. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. So as we mentioned on the outset, everyone is different and unique.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And which is why it's good to point that out. Right. And the only reason I bring it up is to point it out is that, yes, these are amazing tricks and tips and hacks, and they're great. And for a lot of people, they will work. It's not going to work for everybody, and everybody has to understand. And this, I speak from my profession as an identity coach. You need to always, and I mean always, figure out what works for you, because your body, your energy, your emotional state, your mental state is all unique to you. It's not going to work the same.
Right. Thank you for pointing. Yeah. So with that in mind too, the experts, most of the experts on sleep and the body, they point to, like you said, about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime to make that your last food intake if you can, and also note that if you get hungry in those last couple of hours, like for me, I was, that's another topic, but I realized, my husband and I were eating the same thing at the same time, and I was getting hungry like an hour later. So I wasn't absorbing my nutrients from my food. So that was another issue, but sleep helped me to do that. Right. So one of the things that happens during sleep is our body digests our food and heals itself. So heals those major organs and body systems. So that's imperative that we have a healthy immune system right now, and that is affected by everything, including sleep. So, that's why we're here, just to get enough sleep. So if you're eating closer to bedtime, though, if you feel you need to have a snack or whatever, you just want to make it, like you said, pointed out with the diabetic diet, So you want to have something that is not high in carbohydrates, because it throws your blood sugar off, and that might wake you in the middle of the night. So other things like that, make sure that any medications you're taking, or even supplements. I have to take my vitamins, they're powerhouse vitamins, before noon in the day, or it will upset my sleep routine because I'm sensitive way. So just know yourself and do that through the journaling or using an app and other things like that. Just notice what you notice and make a note of it, and you'll see a pattern over time. There was one other thing you mentioned that I wanted to touch on. I'm trying to think what that was. So, so if you're going to eat just before you go to bed, a little snack to tide you over, maybe some nuts, if that's in your diet, because that's going to be some protein and something that you could digest more easily than, something heavier, right? That your body will have to focus on digesting instead of fixing the organs and healing everything else. So anything you can do to help your body to get rest and not have to work harder is going to boost your immune system and help you get better sleep.
Yeah.
So I know maybe in like 5th grade health class, we learned about the REM cycle of sleep and different cycles of sleep. So I'm not going to go into detail about that, but know, and you can research it yourself, know that every cycle of sleep has its purpose, but the deeper cycle that you can get is going to benefit you more, right? To heal your body. So my husband's telling me he has to go. He'll be back. Well, okay. Bye, honey. I'll see you later. That was
not a problem.
That was important to him. So it's also important to know that our brain, part of our body, right, another body organ, is healing and rejuvenating our cells as we sleep. We all need that, don't we? Otherwise, we'd be stoners walking around. So let's see. So are we ready?
Go ahead.
Yes. No, I want to answer your question because I want to know if we're ready to move on to other things that that we can do during the day to help our sleep. Yeah.
One of the questions I have about not getting enough sleep is, so if somebody sleeps or has trouble falling asleep.
Yeah.
And then once they're asleep, only sleeps an hour, 2 hours, and then wakes up and then can't fall back asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody who's only getting 2, maybe 3 hours of sleep a night. No matter what they do, no matter what they take, they're not sleeping.
That's really hard. So there's so many factors there that could contribute. So that's where I recommend, even during the day, keeping that journal, however you do it, to look at those variables to see, oh, well, when I tried this, would you want to try something not just once, unless it has such adverse effects that you don't want to try it once. Some things we don't need to do twice, right? So I would definitely suggest that you try something like, I'm an essential oil specialist, so I'm going to suggest, if someone's open to it, trying an essential oil at night and having that. I have this bottle at my bedside. If I wake up in the middle of the night, actually, I put the oils in a roll-on, so I can just reach over and then roll it on anywhere at all, just get the oils on you. Because essential oils, they're just made from nature, parts of the plant, for soothing our body, those calming essential oils, right? So that's just one thing. We have in our back pocket, whether you wear pajamas or not, you always have a deep cleansing breath. That's going to help us calm during the day and also as you lay your head on the pillow, you kind of breathe that sigh. Oh, the bed is supporting me, and you can use visualization there, and, envision that you're being supported in a loving way, and you're safe, you're relaxed, you're calm. And you can also do the deep breathing. There's so many apps about breathing, and it's so easy to do. It just like, I say that, if we could do that now, take a nice deep cleansing breath. Actually, we're going to do two, because the first one is practice. And it helps us to relax during the day, but it definitely helps us to focus on relaxation at night when we're ready to sleep. So if we could just, if you can, if you're sitting, put your feet on the floor if you can, and just try to have nothing in your hands in your lap. If you want to be grounded, feel more grounded to sleep, you can put your hands palm down. If you wanted to receive something that you just maybe prayed about or asked for, you can, keep your hands open. So if you close your eyes and just trust, if you're the only one in the room, just now notice what you notice in your body. And this is even a little meditation, you might call it, just being aware. And now notice your breath. I've been talking, so my breath is a little up there and pace. So I would say focus on your belly, and you might not know where your diaphragm is, but below your rib cage. And just take a nice deep breath in your nostrils and hold it for a count of 3, 2, 1, and breathe it out your mouth like you're blowing out a birthday candle. And let's do that one more time. This time I want you to notice your breath coming in, and you can all and I imagine sometimes it has a dye, a color to it, and I can envision it swirling around, going into my lungs and swirling around, then coming up and back out. You can picture that in your favorite calming color. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in with your nose. You can hold your hand on your belly. Feel it inflate, hold for 3, 2, 1, and exhale out your mouth gently. So if you took stock of how you felt and how your body felt before we did that, how long did that take? A whole minute, 30 seconds?
Yeah.
You can do that any point in the day, and definitely when you hit your head on the pillow, when you put your head on the pillow at night.
I like that one too. I always tell people the 15-second breathing technique. So it's breathe in and count 5, hold for 5, and then exhale on 5. It's like the quickest meditation. 15 seconds, you're done. And your whole body, your mind, everything is relaxed by the end of that. And that's the one I usually tell people too. Right. So just a simple relaxation breathing. And people sometimes get intimidated by these new things to them. And that's a simple practice. It doesn't have to be complicated. Like you said, you can count to 5. Got 5. Most of us have 5 fingers. Yeah. Exactly. So, we were talking about other things that get in the way, or things that we can do during the daytime to affect our sleep. So our diet is the number one thing that is going to affect our sleep, certainly our digestion, our cognitive abilities, and our body's ability to heal. So, they say you are what you eat. You are what you eat, but you also are what you absorb. So as I said earlier, I wasn't absorbing the nutrients from my food. And I knew that because I felt like, they say if you eat Chinese food, you'll be hungry an hour later. Well, I always felt like that. And so just learning things like that. Also to keep your blood sugar regular, because that could be what's keeping you awake. Notice, again, someone you said
was waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to go back to sleep. So don't get on the electronics. Maybe read something calming or enjoyable. Maybe, I open up my Bible in the middle of the night if I get up, and because that gives me peace, right? So whatever resonates with you. And then one thing that you want to do is to avoid certain things, and there's other foods you want to incorporate. So what would you think of, like, a no-brainer that you would want to avoid before sleep? Something's going to keep you awake. What if you're prone to, what are you doing? So that's a big clue there, Melissa. Okay, so I know you enjoy your Pepsi, and
I do. I love it.
Yeah. So for most people, if they have caffeine or sugar, and that pairing is like the dynamic duo that has certain effects, including keeping most people awake and interfering with your blood sugar, right? So I love that.
I feel like the contradiction. I feel like I'm like the contradiction to this entire episode. So everybody watching, please ignore me in the background, because I'm a smoker. I drink Pepsi, and so there's sugar, caffeine, and nicotine. Add on to that, I eat before bed because I'm hypoglycemic. So if I don't eat, the only time I get away with not being hypoglycemic is at night when I'm sleeping, because I don't pay attention to it. But once I'm awake and functional, if I don't eat every 5 hours, I am violently ill. And just, I won't function for the rest of the day at all. Yeah, eating is a huge one for me, every 5 hours. And then if I don't eat every 5 hours, because I know you mentioned food and I just thought of it. Yeah, if I don't eat every 5 hours, I'll start to get shaky, and I'll get really nauseous, and I'll get dizzy, and I'll stumble. And then I'm starving, and I need like carbs, and I need like heavy carb content, heavy sugar content. And I end up like gorging myself on all this food because I'm so hungry. And then I go into food coma. And then I'm like screwed for the rest of the day because I'm, I get sick. Don't tell my husband. He's probably watching this and getting so mad at me because he gets really angry if I don't eat. Yeah, he's probably watching. He's already loved the video. So I'm sure
maybe he's cooking dinner.
He doesn't cook. Well, okay. Every so often he cooks.
Maybe he's ordering.
He's cooked me like 3 meals in 13 years. So yeah.
Make it 4.
He does everything else though. I can't complain. He does everything else though. So I'm pretty lucky.
That's awesome. And if you can go to sleep knowing that, wow, that's got to feel really great. Yeah. So, one size does not fit all. And you know what? I'm sure there's going to be other people on here, Melissa, who relate to what you've been saying, and just about different habits and how they work for you. And it might be total opposite. So I'm not here to say, oh, you need to do this. No, you need to do what
absolutely will be.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things about this show is that I love contradictions. I love differing opinions because so many people are afraid of not being like the rest of the sheep. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it like that because you don't have to be like everybody else, right? And you aren't anybody else. So
you're individual.
That has to be my biggest passion topic, and it's the foundation of everything I do. It's my identity coaching, it's my spiritual teaching, it's the show. In a nutshell, is we are unique, right?
Yeah.
And everybody, just because I have experts on the show talking about sleep and talking about addiction and relationships, that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And I love to point that out because it is true. Not everybody's going to be the same.
So important. So important. Thanks. So that's why, we're talking about trying something. If it works for you, great.
Mhm.
I would recommend, I don't know if I finished that thought, to try something. When you try something natural, to give it a try, like give it a chance, unless it's detrimental. So try maybe 3 to 5 nights or 3 to 5 days, whatever the practice is. Just give it a chance. Some things, we need to try for a month to see if they work, right? Like my new vitamins, and I'm so glad that
Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, right.
Pharmaceuticals. So I have pharmaceuticals that I take for diseases that I have. And like I have thyroid disease, right? And it's like, oh, you won't notice any change for the next 4 to 6 weeks, right? So there is that option too. If it's not harming you, but you're seeing a very slight or minimal or even just no indication that it's working, keep at it for a little while, right? I wholeheartedly agree with you that try something before you knock it, right? Before you say it was not working or this isn't going to help.
Right. Thanks. Yeah. So we were talking about different foods that can affect your sleep. Certainly caffeine, for most people and their constitution, caffeine is detrimental to a quality sleep, right? Also the same for most carbohydrates. You want to, generally speaking, avoid those, and maybe have a little protein, or like I said, nuts is a good little snack, but something light, and try to stay away from the sugar. And, sweets, ice cream included, although, most people think of it as dairy, right? And I know you're going to say, oh, what, I love my ice cream at night. So if that works for you, make an ice cream sundae and a soda. Also, you want to include, generally speaking, some healthy fats in your diet. So if you put in the comments, what are some healthy fats? So I'll give you an example, like avocado. I usually try to have at least a half an avocado a day, and not everybody likes avocado, and that's okay. But my husband makes a killer guacamole, and I hadn't eaten guacamole most of my life, but then I had some really great guac, and I noticed, oh, my digestion's better. Oh, my cognition's better over time, right? And oh, I sleep better on the days that I have guac or avocado. Also, you can even find good quality yogurts or organic. I recommend if you can eat at least 90% organic foods in your diet, that's going to cut out most of like the special dyes, red dye number 47 or 2 or whatever, because those things can also affect your sleep and your cognition and other things that we rely on. So most yogurts also, it's a good snack, but they also have a lot of sugar. So just beware of that. So foods that contain magnesium and potassium. So maybe a baked potato could be the last meal of the day, right? And you can doctor that up and put some goodies on it, make it healthy too. So
I think I'm going to start, I was thinking about it and I was talking to my husband. I think I'm going to start having hot chocolate and hot chocolate and oatmeal before bed. Because those two things particularly, both of those things particularly put me to sleep. If I have a hot chocolate during the day, even first thing in the morning, afternoon, whatever, I'm exhausted after. Like I'm so tired after. Same with oatmeal. My mother-in-law eats oatmeal every morning, no fail. She eats her oatmeal, and I can't do it because it knocks me out. I'm in like a food coma as soon as I've done eating it. So I told my husband I should start doing that at night or within an hour before, 2 hours before going to bed, is have some oatmeal and hot chocolate to see if that actually helps me sleep, if it helps my, my diet and my physical body and my stomach and digestion and all that. Because for me, heavier is in some sense a little bit better when it comes to sleep, and I don't want to be sluggish for the rest of the day. Anyway, we are
one at a time, because you may not know which one is working, and it might be the sugar that makes you sleepy. Because I'm not going to drink hot chocolate without sugar. How about you?
Yeah. All right. Well, we are getting pretty good on time here.
Okay.
What are we at? I think we're at like over an hour already.
Yeah. I'm just going to add one of my is called golden milk. So it's not everybody's favorite, but I add a little honey to make it sweet. And golden milk has so many great qualities and benefits, health benefits, that's a really good thing. And even that warm milk that grandma told us about can be really beneficial.
Yeah. So golden milk, and it's just milk and honey?
So milk and turmeric. I use the essential oils, and also you can add some ginger. I also use essential oil of ginger and cardamom, and cinnamon is really nice with turmeric. And then you can add, I use clarified butter called ghee, Ghee. And it's like butter, but it doesn't have the, I forgot what that's called. Something that troubles me.
Yeah, so Google it. Get the recipe. I'm never going to remember.
Yeah, and honey, and just Google golden milk. You'll find a nice recipe. And I add some vanilla, and sometimes a little, if not honey, maple syrup. But it warms you, and when you're warm, that's another thing. The environment, our sleep environment. Are you too hot during the night? Are you too cold? Are you comfortable? Is your pillow right? Do you have 5 pillows or 7? Do you need 7 or do you need 9? Do you need 2? All of those things, that's your sleep hygiene. And are your pajamas too warm?
Environment's huge.
Yeah.
I can't sleep when I'm hot. I'm also allergic to the heat. So me and heat don't go together very well. But if I'm too hot when I sleep, it's middle of winter here, Canadian here, and I'm like middle of Canada, Winterpeg is what they call it, but it's actually Winnipeg. We reached minus 45 the other night, and I had a fan going. It's freaking hot. You definitely need to know your surroundings and your environment. And again, not everybody's going to be the same.
Right. Yeah. All right. So lots of good things we can do during the day, similar to what we're doing at night, just to reduce your stress. And remember, stress is a thought. You might disagree with me, but stress is a thought. If you think you're stressed, then you are. But if you think you can do something about it, then you can. And you most likely can. So if you think, what am I in control of? That will reduce your stress. And also, gratitude journal is something that appeals to a lot of people. Or just thinking of what you're grateful for can really change mindset right there, just real quick.
Oh, for sure.
And you'll feel less stressed.
All right. Well, I guess we should wrap this up. If anybody watching or anybody catching the replay wants to connect with either myself or Diane, our social media, our website links are posted in the description of this video and the podcast. And we're all over the website. We have social media accounts. Just Alive has social media accounts across majority of the platforms. All you have to do is type in Just Alive TV usually, or Just Alive. So GYSTTA Live. Giving you something to talk about. Live TV is the title. I am always looking for hosts, guest co-hosts, bloggers, and of course sponsors. Thank you so much, Diane, for joining me on this episode. Sleep is so important, and too many people struggle with not being able to sleep, with not understanding why they're not sleeping and what they can do about it. And I think providing them with a little bit of that information, because trust me, there's so much more is valuable. So I appreciate your time here and joining me on the show.
My pleasure. Yeah, I appreciate your time and all that you're doing. So exciting. Thanks so much for having me, Melissa, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Sounds great. All right. Like I said, everybody, this is Just Alive TV. I'm your host, Melissa Krechler. Today's co-host was Diane Bix. Reach out if you would like to connect with us more about sleep or identity. And like I said, my inbox is always open. I'm always looking for co-hosts, guest bloggers, sponsors, and featured topics. If there's a topic that you would like featured on the show, reach out to me, let me know, and I will do my very best to try and make that happen for you. So lots of love, Just a Family. I will talk to you tomorrow.